Welcome to part 2, people, and as promised I'm going to explain how to create the accordion in detail, but I was just thinking that I can easily tweak the code a little bit and I can convert to a menu bar. So let me show you that first. Let me show you the tweaking. In fact, the explanation will follow soon after, but let me show you how easy it is to tweak these three files and convert it into this accordion into a menu bar. Even before that, let me show you the browser preview of what we had created in the last part. So the first panel is open, this is the second panel, this is the third panel, this is the fourth panel. All of them actually open when the respective panels are actually clicked. The collapsed panels are a lot smaller, just 55. The opened ones are 555. And that's being triggered by the JS file mainly. You see, so what's open is 555, what's closed is actually 55. So I've used the nextl prevol traversing methods. A very short, sweet, compact code, people. Okay, I'm going to tweak the code in the JS. I'm going to disable this line number 9. Okay, whichever panel is open, let that be 360. Whichever panel is actually closed, let that be 120. Okay, 120. Okay, that's the first change out here, and just make sure that the width of all the panels is actually 180. 180 into 4 is 720. That's the entire width of the wrapper. I'm going to explain everything. Just hold on. Okay, let me just first bring up the browser preview. And let's see the changes. Uh-oh. Still something missing. Okay, let's first of all say save all. Go back to this file, and this is gonna be mouse over. Okay, let's say save. So when you mouse over 360, 180. Let me just check if I'm all right here. Refresh. Okay, up front everything is actually 180, and when I actually hover, so 120 plus 120 plus 120, how much is that? 120 plus 120 plus 120 is 360 plus 360 is 720. Okay, perfect. Okay. So the menu bar is actually ready. Just a little bit of a tweak, guys. As I said, I'll explain everything in detail soon after. Okay, let's first revert to the accordion. So just Control Z several times, Control Z several times, and then I'm gonna say save all. Okay, bring the browser up. Let's refresh. Okay, so I'm back to the accordion. Right. Now I'm going to use some code, I'm going to lose some code. Most of the code I'm going to use, some I'm going to lose. Okay, the HTML I'm going to preserve completely. It's so very simple, so very self-explanatory. Okay, lines 7, 8, 9 actually say that we're tying to the externally kept CSS file, which is this one. Okay, we're also tying to the JQuery main library, the latest minified version, which is this one. Okay, kept in the local site folder, beg your pardon. And I'm also tying to the accordion.js file, which is this one. Very compact, very clean, very nice, very sweet. Okay, and the body of the document has a division with an ID of container, which is 720 in width, which has 4 panels. Every panel corresponds to a divisions which have class of I1, I2, I3 and I4, and they are all common. All of them carry an image, home.png, team.png. These are the images. Home.png, team.png, contact.png, services.png. Okay, so for example, this is home.png, width of 56, height of 56. These are bigger images, but I'm just using the width and the height attributes to make them smaller. Ideally, you should keep them the same size as the width and the height. You don't even need to use the width and the height then. So it's actually wiser not using the code, but using something like a Photoshop and crunching them, or using images of the same sizes. Okay, see, alternate text I've skipped, but you should not. Style, used inline style, float left for every image, guys. Okay, Now H4s inside the divisions I1, I2, I3, I4 act like titles. So quality lessons can go with a space out here. Quality lessons in web development. Here it says this is my team. Here it says we offer training. I've used BR tags at some places, at some junctures to take the text to the next line. Okay. So you see, every panel is actually a combination of an image and an H4, right? And if I encapsulate the whole division inside A tags with href attribute, it actually turns into a hyperlink. That's when you're going to use the A tag, the A colon link tags, A tags rather, anchor tags, if you're going to use a menu bar. But for an accordion, we don't need it. Or else we just wrap all the four divisions or all the four panels within A tags and use the href attribute, turning them into links. Okay, so that's it. So simple. This is where the container div ends. It opened out here. It's going to act as the wrapper for all the four panels, which are four panels are 55 pixels each, guys. Okay, the whole width of the container is 720. Alrighty. So what I'm going to do is, as promised, I'm going to destroy some code. Alrighty. So with 720, margin left auto, margin right auto, margin top height. Okay, cool. Let's get rid of it. And this. Okay. And everything out here. So float left transition all 0.37. I just need to remember it before I, destroy everything. Width 55, height whatever. Float left. Transition. White space, no wrap, cursor. Okay, let's get rid of it. As far as the four items are concerned, I1, I2, I3, I4, I'm not going to kill this rule because then I may forget the color names, the background color names. I'm going to destroy this. I'm going to destroy this. Okay. But since the JS is so minimal, I'm going to preserve the JS. At this point, if I were to save the document, in fact, let's just disable the JS file. So what I'm going to do is, just for the testing purpose, let's see, how things shape up. I'm going to call it accordions. So that's disconnecting the JS file. Okay. So let's bring the browser up. Let's refresh. Okay, nothing happened on a click. We are disconnected with the JS file, and this is the way the panels actually appear. Okay, no action, obviously. File, save all, refresh. Oh, actually, this is the browser preview. It's all jumbled up. We're gonna set everything all right. Okay, now, guys, first of all, notice that all the four panels, I1, I2, I3, and I4, actually encapsulated in this bigger division container. This is the container. Okay, I'm going to make sure that the width is actually 720 px. Okay. At the same time, I'm going to make sure that the container is centered left and right. So that happens when you set the margin right to auto and margin left to auto. I'm actually using Emmet Code Assist plugin to code out real quick. So let's see how this actually affects everything. So this is the container, guys, and if you see, it's all centered up. Margin left auto, margin right auto. Let's say margin top 20, not minus 20 actually, just remove the minus from here. Okay, that's gonna shift it down from the top by 20. It's already at 20 pixels, so all cool. Okay, right, and what else did I need to do? overflow was hidden. Overflow was hidden, but I'm going to do that a little later. Let's see why we actually need the overflow. Okay. As far as the four panels are concerned, I1, I2, I3, I4, these four panels. Okay. I'm going to make sure that the width for all of them is actually, sorry, not windows. It's width 100. Okay. A height, rather a height of 100 is what I wanted. A width of 55 for all of them. Okay, at the same time, now I remember I need to go with the height 100 here as well. Okay, at this point, let's bring the browser up and let's refresh. Okay, actually everything is just fine. This is the container. It's just that I need to float all the panels left, so that's a float left, right? That's a float left. Okay, let's see how this actually affects the browser preview. Alrighty. Notice that the text is flowing outside. Let's counter that. Overflow hidden here. Okay, let's see how this affects things. Right, and there's a property called white space, and I'm going to set it to no wrap. This will make sure the text will not wrap. Okay. Kind of, things are kind of taking shape. And do I need to set overflow hidden here as well? Let me just try that. Not too sure about that. Alrighty, let's check that. I don't think so actually. If need be, I'll revert. So for the minute, let's get rid of this. Okay. I also remember that yeah, the cursor property needs to be used. So the cursor is what was the cursor set to? A pointer, right? Let me just check. Yep, a pointer, correct. So you get the hand, righto. Okay, at this point, let me pause the video and think what were the next few properties that I'd used. Actually can't remember, so we'll get on with some other properties. So, container H4. H4s are the titles, these are all H4. This is an H4, this is an H4, this is my team. So I need to format this. First of all, text align was center, right? And font family was a Brima. Right. Let's see how this affects everything else. Okay. Still the JS isn't firing, which is understandable. Right. So at this point, guys, I don't remember the other properties that I'd used. So let's do one thing. Let's connect the JS at this point. So we're going back to Accordion. We're reverting to accordion.js, not accordions.js. That's gonna connect this file. So line number 9 says I1, the first panel, should be 555. So if you see the CSS turns everything 55, but this overrides it, turns it 555. The first panel is going to be open. So whichever panel you want to open, you just need to come out here and specify that panel. In our case, up front, we'll be keeping the first panel open. Okay. And whenever somebody clicks on either the first panel, the second panel, I1, I2, I3, or I4, run the function go run, which is defined out here. So we can define it using a variable and making it equal to a function which says width 555 for whichever item is actually clicked. This means the item clicked, the panel clicked. And for next all and prev all panels, make sure that the width is 55. So simple. Next all panels 55, prev all panels 55. Wow, this is traversing at its best. Okay, let's see how this actually affects the whole equation. So we are not now properly connected with the JS. So JS ensures that the first panel up front, the I1 is actually open. Everything else is 55. This one is 555. Okay. There's no transition. I remember we needed to use the transition. Righto. I knew I was missing something. So transition. Sorry. It's transition. I'm not using the vendor prefixes, guys, but you should. Property, let's say affecting everything and over 0.3 seconds. Okay. Which property to be affected? All of them over 0.3 seconds. So let's preview things at this point. Absolutely, guys. See how simple. Okay. See, let me show you. If I don't use overflow hidden, just for a minute, let me just remove this. Let's see what happens. See that? You need to make sure nothing spills out. Okay, so we'll go back to overflow hidden. Also, I think although I'm actually done, why did I actually use the selection? That was the selection rule. I'm gonna tell you. Actually, if you see, I don't need that rule. This is, see, this, I deliberately, by mistake, something got selected. See, if you double click sometimes, if you drag sometimes, the chances are something may get selected. That fourth rule is not a very important one, but some, the area something, like this can get, selected and doesn't look quite cool. So that is the reason why I've thrown this rule just to be extra cautious. So background transparent wasn't really too important, but just helps. Now you see, if I try to highlight anything, I cannot select anything by mistake, and that bluish area won't come up. Okay, so that's the reason I actually used. Inside the container, all elements on selection should throw a background of transparent and not blue, which is the default. Okay. So in the end, let's make sure at least the accordion is just the way we want it. Perfect. Alrighty. Guys, now I think the time is ripe for me to turn it into a menu bar, and just to show you, if instead of the first panel, the fourth panel is what we would need open. So just need to make this small change out here. Let's refresh. Okay, so the fourth panel is open, not the first one. Now let's convert this into a menu bar. We will need to disable 9.9. We don't need it at all. Okay, just tweak the JS this way. So up front, I would say everything should be 180, not 55. Let's see how this affects. Let's bring the browser up. Let's do a refresh. Everything is actually, yep, a 180. Okay, let's go on making changes. This click, I would want to be a mouse over now. Let's save it up. Okay. At the same time, whatever is open, I would want it to be a 360. Whatever is closed, I would want it to be a 120. 120. Okay, so perfect mathematics. Let's save. Let's bring the browser up. Let's do a refresh. And yepo. Okay, but these are not hyperlinks, guys. And moreover, you see, some truncation is happening out here. Some truncation is happening out here as well. You can easily fix that by going to the HTML of the document and making sure you insert maybe lesser H4 text, or maybe using even better, maybe using the BR tags at the right place, guys. Or maybe just using a smaller font size in the CSS, where I actually said font family Abrima, I could have said maybe a font size 2, just to make sure nothing gets cut out. Let's try this out. Bring the browser up. Yepo, right. So depending on the scenario, you can insert BR at a different place, or as I said, go down with the font size. Okay, cool. But we will be complete only once we convert the 4 panels. These are panels, these are not hyperlinks, into hyperlinks. So you need to surround the divisions with the A tag. So you need to come out here. Let's say that's a href is equal to a hashtag. That means whatever and likewise close it out here, so that the first panel is actually now a division. Okay, let's preview things up. Similarly, you need to make sure convert everything else into a link. Let's do a refresh. Now what's actually happening is, you see this area is actually turned bluish. That's simply because that is the way the link tags actually behave, right? And a little bit of the formatting has gone a little haywire. Let me just check why. Okay, sorry for the interruption, guys. I actually figured it out. See what's happening. If I encapsulate all the 4 divisions which represent the different panels, I1, I2, I3, and I4, I surround them using A tags. The problem is that then this nextol prevol does not work properly, because then the different panels don't remain siblings. So that sibling, in fact, this nextol prevol is not understood properly. Then nextol panels, previous all panels, this breaks, this relationship breaks. So DOM traversal is not happening properly. So there is a workaround. It's very simple. Instead of encapsulating the division, I should be encapsulating the images inside the division. So A out here, href is equal to a hashtag here, and just before the division closes. Righto. So this should work properly. I want to show it to you in a minute. Right, so yep, there you go. So you see now the first link is actually a division, right? So that was a small workaround, guys. A small, very small workaround. Okay, let's actually see that in action to be absolutely sure. http:// qualitylessons.net. Okay, so we'll be absolutely sure. Let me click out here, and let me click out here. Okay, the only issue is you need to click right where you see the text and not anywhere else. This time it opened, so if I click on the image it works. If I click on the text it actually works, but if I click out here down below it doesn't work. I think I'll need to tweak it a little further. I'm going to pause it, guys, once again. Give me a minute. Okay, I finally made it work, guys. Wasn't too difficult. What I've done is I've just added this rule right here at the top of the CSS file, a:link. So every link should have a display of block, text decoration set to none, that removes the underline, width set to 360, height set to 100. Basically, the width and height of every panel. That's hovered upon, that's moused upon. Okay, and just by doing this, everything is just fine. You see out here, so instead of wrapping the whole division, I'm wrapping the image and the h4, and giving a width and a height to the anchor tags, and everything is just fine. You see, for testing purpose, this is set to an href of quality lessons. All of them actually are set to qualitylessons.net. All of them are going to open up qualitylessons.net in the self browser window, because I've not used the target attribute at all. Not using it means going default, which also means it's going to open up in the same browser window. So you see href qualitylessons.net closes out here, line number 39. Okay, so let's see, let's refresh. Not only that, I also made one more change. If you remember, this h4's inside containers was set to text decoration center. I changed that. I just removed that. That wasn't looking good. That was okay with the accordion, but the menu, it wasn't looking good. So text, the text align was center. I just removed it. It'll default to left now. Okay. So let's do a refresh. Wonderful. Okay, let's click any of the links. For example, this one, my website. Let's go back. Let's try this one. Righto. Right. You see, the visited links have actually turned purplish. So what you can do is you can create few more rules for the visited, for the the active states for the links too. So people who know how to work with links, they know how to do that. Okay, but more or less things are working just the way I actually wanted them to, right? And let me remind you again, in the very first place, why the code didn't fire when I surrounded every panel using the A tag was because this next all prev all relationship got smashed. Two pieces. It didn't work. Okay. That was the reason I had to bring the A tags inside the division, not keep it outside. So people, I hope you found this information useful. You have a good day. Bye-bye. Peace.